Hello and welcome to the Bondysurf podcast with your budgie boys, Tim and Owie, hydrated by Hairy Man Brewery. And tonight we have a huge show planned for you. Joining us on the panel is Matthew Bond. How you doing, mate?
You know what? I'm doing pretty good.
Off to a great start. Owie, how are you doing, man?
It's going to be very strange having two Matthews on the panel tonight, Tim. How have you decided to differentiate between the both of us?
Well, you're Owie.
Yes.
And you're Bondy.
Oh.
Is he Bondy, though? Because I've had many conversations with Uga, who seems to think that your name should be spelt with an I.
Oh, really?
Yeah. What do you, like, growing up, Matthew Bond, obviously.
Yes.
All right. So I'm guessing you got lots of the James Bond sort of terrible jokes that aren't funny at all.
Yes.
So how did you just sit on Bondy?
Well, I actually, I was 10 and I was in a soccer team.
I didn't ask for your life story, mate.
And there were 7 Matthews in the soccer team. And so we all went by our last name.
7 Matthews.
And I remember my dad said, well, you're now Bondy. And I thought my dad was a genius. I'm like, how did he think of that nickname?
Yeah.
You know? And he was probably called it his whole life too. So,
Yeah.
But I thought he was just the greatest dad at that time.
Oh, well, mate, welcome to the show anyway. It's
Thank
great
you.
to have you on. Our producer, Wolfo, he is your favourite body surfer, Matt Bond, that is.
Is that true?
Yeah, 100%.
Why?
Well, I actually don't know if I've caught any waves, so I don't know how I'm your favourite body surfer, but I really appreciate it.
I think he's got to be the most stoked body surfer. Whether he's not catching any waves, that's irrelevant. But he's the keenest guy to drive, hour and a half?
From
Come
the
out
hills, yep.
Every weekend to come for a surf. And he makes us feel bad because generally we don't want to go out. And we have to go because he just drove so far to come for a surf.
I do get the pity vote a lot, and we jump in when the waves aren't that good, and I love it.
Yeah, well, mate, I'm so stoked that you drive out all that way as well. Sean was originally saying, listen, me brother-in-law, he's going to come down and body surf. He's not very good, but he's keen. And you came down with the old, I think you had Tech 1s. Was it Tech 1s?
Yes.
And Timmy was like, straight away, I love it.
He's in the team.
Yep.
He's the opening fin sprinter for the boys now.
And you've just blossomed from there, Bondy.
Well, thank you. I really love getting down there. I really love just having a swim. I love, you never regret getting wet. You never regret it either.
Put that on a t-shirt,
You
mate.
never regret. That's good, actually.
Thanks.
Yeah, I like that. You should put that on a t-shirt, actually. We can start selling merch soon.
No regrets when you get wet.
No regrets. I like it.
All right. Well, we should probably mention we've got a lot to talk about, and Bondy, we're going to get into your body surfing career very shortly. We also have Tom Marr joining us on the show very shortly because Tom Marr is the new Slyde handboard champion of Australia.
Whoa!
Well done. Yeah, should have it. Sorry.
Yeah,
Yep.
You don't have a thing.
Okay, so we've got a lot to get through. We've got some housekeeping to take care of. We should mention that over the weekend, Slyde Fest Australia 2020 took place. Now, it was powered by Defin Hawaii, sponsored by Spy Optic Australia, and of course, Slyde Handboards Australia. Trav from Slyde Handboards did an amazing job putting it all on. Unfortunately, the Budgie boys were unable to cross the border. Now, we cross live to Owie, who has a prepared media press release statement to explain exactly what happened.
Last week, a few days before Slyde Fest Australia 2020, the Budgie boys were informed that they would not be able to cross the border to compete at Slyde Fest Australia 2020, held on the Gold Coast over the weekend. While the official border closure was not due to take place until the day after the competition, our flights were cancelled and some border passes were revoked. This meant that we were unable to fly or drive into Queensland prior to the competition taking place on Saturday. While some New South Wales competitors and spectators were granted entry into the state of Queensland, the Budgie boys were denied, leading many to question a possible conspiracy to keep the boys out of the Sunshine State. The boys had been training very hard, preparing A-grade content as media partners, and some had already started the long journey from Sydney to the Gold Coast in one of the smallest cars to have ever been manufactured. While the boys were unable to take part in the competition, we were still able to enjoy the festivities within New South Wales by going to the pub, having a punt, and getting effing blind. To everyone that was able to take part, we hope you had a great time. We would like to congratulate all the winners and applaud Trav, the Slyde team, and all the sponsors who made this amazing event happen.
Well said. Well said. It's heartbreaking to talk about this. We were looking forward to it. I've prepared another statement. This is a media release about my back, my lack, my lack of content, and my lack of swimming in recent months. So for the last few weeks, due to a severe back injury, I've been unable to body surf, create passable content, or perform my husbandly duties. I would like to apologise to the Budgie Boys, my co-host Oe, executive producer Wooltho, the loyal listeners, and my girlfriend. It's not good enough, and I need to own it. I've been reflecting on this for some time, and I promise I will do better. I would like to thank my physio Tony for helping me through this very difficult time. Without your support, I would not be here today. Thank you to everyone for your very kind words during this very hard time and supporting me as we continue to waffle on each week here on the Bondysurf podcast. Matthew Bond, I believe you have a prepared statement brought to you by Oporto.
Hello, my name's Matthew Bond, but you can call me Bondy. I'm currently the Hills' #1 body surfer. And when I'm not driving halfway to Queensland before getting turned around or locking my keys in my car, I enjoy eating some authentic Protege's chicken from Oporto. From their succulent flame-grilled chicken to their perfectly seasoned hot chips, I just can't get enough. But you just can't go past the Bondy burger. Oh, yum. Mention Matthew Bond at any participating store for 10% off your next Bondy burger. Oporto, get the real taste of Bondy today. Oporto are in no way affiliated with the Bondysurf podcast or any of their conglomerates.
Thank you very much. That was meant to be Portuguese. That's a typo.
That definitely did say Portuguese.
Sorry about that. Well read. And I think that sort of brings us up to speed and up to date with everything that's been going on here. For the last week or so, it was devastating news, and we had to make a really hard call a few days before. We were due to go to Queensland for Slyde Fest. We were all looking forward to it, and what happened, Owie?
Yeah, so we decided that most of us were going to fly up in the end. I know we said to Bondy, listen, you drive, mate, and we were up in the car on the way home. And so Bondy's left on Thursday night. About 11 o'clock on Thursday, our flights got cancelled. So Sean and I had booked tickets through Jetstar. I think Robbie had booked tickets through Virgin. Now, Virgin was still flying, but Jetstar were cancelled. So flights to get there, gone. Absolutely gone. No chance whatsoever. And getting home was just as hard. So if we decided to drive, we could have gotten in. So, for instance, you've seen Tom Marr and I believe Tom Marr's from New South Wales.
Yep.
And Dylan Kelly, lots of other guys. Dave Malloy also got up there. All drove. The problem for us was we couldn't get home. So our border passes, actually, we had to reapply for them and prove that we could then get back out of the state, which wasn't going to be the case. So sadly, we got denied entry, and I was really upset about it because we'd booked last minute. I was saying on the podcast, I was worried that we were going to get locked down, and we'll leave it to the last minute. And we left it to literally the last minute, because I booked on Tuesday and our flights got canned on Thursday. So a bit upsetting. We got the flight credits now, so we'll definitely be able to go up to the Gold Coast in the near future and hopefully hang out with the guys from Slyde and the Goldie Sliders. But yeah, it just didn't happen this weekend.
Now, Bondy, talk us through your journey. Now, you obviously hopped in your little Mini, you had the road, you were listening to the podcast, enjoying life, and then you got this phone call. Whereabouts were you when you got the news?
Yeah, so I was driving up the coast, got past Foster, which is 3 and a bit hours, got to Taree, which it's probably about 4 hours from Sydney where I live, and got the call. I noticed on my phone I was getting a lot of messages, and I was being a good citizen. I wasn't checking my phone while driving. But then I got a call from my brother-in-law, Sean, and he told me basically that all the flights have been cancelled. He just got an email from Jetstar or whoever, and they weren't going to be able to get there. And so we had a very hasty conference call, all the Budgie boys, and had to make a decision quite quickly as to what we were doing. I was really sad. It was about midday. I was getting a bit hungry. I was halfway there, and had to make the decision to turn around. And so I literally did a U-turn on the highway and drove home.
So you left at what time in the morning?
8 in the morning.
8 in the morning. So now I'm guessing you put last week's episode of the Bondysurf podcast on straight away.
I did.
Yes. And where were you when I said you're at about Central Coast? You've got a long way to go.
Yeah, I was at the Central Coast.
Yeah, good. See, that's good.
You timed it out.
I timed it out good.
Yeah.
The sad thing was you had to listen to the last 20 minutes of us dribble on and then turn around when you got to Taree and come all the way back.
Yeah.
So what time did you get home?
So I got home at 4 o'clock that day. So I left at 8, got home at 4, put in a full day's work. And I got home, my wife looked at me and I was perhaps the saddest I've been.
Yeah.
I was a mess.
But you know what? It wasn't all tears, because we had the whole weekend to be able to hang out and body surf with the Budgie boys.
Yeah.
So we actually on Saturday, we hopped in Robbie's boat, and I hopped on the back of the jet ski with Uga and Corey. And we went and had a little body bash out at the at some unnamed reefs. Yeah, so it wasn't all bad. There was positives, Timmy, is what I'm trying to say.
I had a great day on the punt and had a lovely burger. I believe you had a blue burger on Friday night.
Yeah, I had the Sharkies burger. Yeah, the Sharkies were playing Friday night, and blue burger. So it was delicious.
Was it?
Yeah, it was actually quite nice. $16.
Wolfo, we should probably bring you into the conversation. Were you going to come to Slyde?
No, I wasn't actually.
Oh, okay. What did you get up to this week?
I know all the guys are listening online as well. I just had a quiet weekend with the family, to tell you the truth.
That's not on, eh?
I knew I had only one leave pass to cash in, and I had so much fun at one camp last year. So
You're saving up for that.
I'm saving up for that.
Yeah, well, we won't talk about that yet. We've still, got to ride the hype of Slyde Fest. But yeah, we probably in the next few weeks have to sort out that mess because there could be issues there as well. So, we're in a moment we're going to get the Slyde champion on the phone, Tom Marr. But maybe before we get to that, we might just go through some of the results from all the events over the weekend. You've got an email from Trav here who's summarised everything for us, which is lovely.
And so it was actually quite interesting to watch the events start to take place on the day because obviously we weren't there. We would have loved to be there, but the first initial videos of the surf, and I even went on and I checked the wind, and I saw it all kind of coming together. Trav summarised it great. So he said, what a day it all came together, what a successful day it was of solid surf, offshore, cross-shore winds throughout the day, 3 to 6 foot sets bombing, which I wasn't too far off on my prediction, I would like to say. I said it might be 5 to 8 feet. They said they got some 6 foot bombs there. I'm stoked with that. So big walls, big pits, tough swim outs. I was talking with Uga over the weekend, and he said that surfing up there, they have a big sweep. So if the surf's coming through and there's not kind of a lot of entry-exit points for the water, so it just tends to sweep down the beach. So it must have been quite tough swimming out there on the day. It was really sunny, Travis said, and there was 40 competitors and 20 first-timers. Wow. Yeah, so 20 people in the water for a competition for the first time. That's what it's all about, really. You want to get these competitions are getting people in the sport or maybe back into the sport, like plenty of people might have surfed their whole lives. They started body surfing, they've progressed, I guess you could say, to stand-up surfing, and maybe in older age they're heading back to their body surfing ways. So 20 first-time competitors, That's great. So the junior final was actually won by Alana. Now, how do you say her last name? Glowalski? Wolfo? Glowalski. Glow. Come on, mate. You're the producer.
I'm going to say Glowalski.
Yeah, Glowalski. She's 14 and she's a Slyde team rider. So the runners up were Cooper Smith. Third was Ace. And fourth was Lincoln Smith. Now, Bonnie, I'm going to pass this one over to you because it's the over 45s final.
Yep. So coming first is Lee Smith. Well done to Lee. Runner-up, Harry Gordon. You guys were talking up Harry Gordon last week.
That was Trav's pick, and Trav's stoked that he was in there. Absolutely.
Yeah, well done, Harry. Third is Jay Marr. Fourth, Alex Beaver. And fifth, Darren Varenkamp. So they had a 5-man final, but in the first minute, Lee took off on a solid one, did a spin into the barrel, flew down the wall, and pulled in at the end to get a solid score. And then the rest of the guys chased him down for the rest of the final, but couldn't catch him. So well done, Lee. Good job.
Yeah, you keep going, Owie. We got the ladies up next.
Ladies are up next. Now, Linda Franklin came first in that. Runner-up, Lily Kelly, which is Dylan's sister. Third, Therese Glowalski. So I'm guessing that is either the sister or the mother of Alana. And Diana Owen came fourth. So the ladies did well. Even getting out was definitely hard work. Lydia, in her second year, took the title. She also did well in the over 45s. In the opens, now here's this is the big one. This is the big one. This is the open. So it is open to pretty much everyone there. So everyone can compete. And it got down to the final four of Tom Marr, Pat McNally, Alana Glowalski, and Dylan Kelly. So that goes in that order. Tom Marr came first. Patrick McNally was the runner-up. Alana Glowalski came third. And fourth was Dylan Kelly. So the final was hotly contested with many low-range scores. And finally, Tom secured one high-scoring wave, and this was the difference. Second to fourth was very close. So that's kind of what happens in those competitions. You get the better waves earlier in the morning because the winds tend to be better. And then later in the day, they can swing around and get a bit more on shore. So it looks like it might have been a low-scoring final. And Tom Marr's come out and won it.
Well, maybe we should get him on the phone now and just have a quick chat to him. I'm interested to see how he even got to Queensland because obviously we had troubles with that. But to hear about his experience and to see how he did taking out the competition.
G'day, it's Tom here.
Hey, Tom, you're on with the boys from the Bondysurf podcast. Congratulations, first of all. How you doing, man?
Yeah, very well.
That's good. Sorry, before we get into Slyde Fest, and obviously you are the new champion of Slyde Fest 2020 in Australia, we just want to ask you a quick question. How did you go getting into Queensland? Because we had a lot of issues.
Getting into Queensland, I am from Queensland. I'm from Brisbane.
Oh, really?
There you
So
go. Yeah,
minimal issues getting down the Gold Coast.
So you're currently living in Brisbane?
Yes.
Oh, amazing. Good stuff. Alrighty. So let's talk if you don't mind talking us through the day. How did your first heat go?
First heat was good. I made a late appearance to the event. My dad and I had been for a surf, an early surf. And then we rocked up and call it the tail end of the heat before us. And I think the swell was kind of like coming up on a high tide. So it's pretty lumpy and chunky out there. I don't know whether you guys have seen any pictures or any videos of the day. But yeah, first heat was all right. And then we progressed through to quarters and then semis and then finals. And the tide progressively sucked out and it just got a little bit heavier and heavier. It was lots of fun.
So when you got all the way to that final, what was the surf doing during that big one?
It was cooking. It was probably like 4 to 6 foot, maybe a bit bigger on the set. Southport, where the event was, kicks up a lot of swell. It's like one of the open beaches on the northern end of the Goldie, and there's a big southerly swell running. I think we were catching the tail end of that east coast low that you guys had down south. And yeah, it was really fun. Shallow banks and pretty peaky surf, lots of swimming, big sweep. Yeah, it was good fun.
Nice. And now Dylan Kelly won last year. Were you able to have a bit of a chat with him in the water and get a few tips? And eventually you took it out and beat him. How was that relationship throughout the day?
Yeah, he's pretty good. I've known Dylan for a little while. Like, we've bumped into each other in a bunch of contests over the years and whatnot. I don't know. It's never too serious out there. Always just a bit of a laugh.
Absolutely. Now you've taken out Womping, Womp-Off or Womp-Comp. You've taken out Womp-Off with Team Defin and now Slyde. What's next for you in the body surfing calendar?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know what the next event is. Someone should organise something. Put a call out, mate. Get someone to organise something.
Now, Tom, are you going to come down to Womp Camp at all?
I don't think I'm going to make Womp Camp. Similar with the getting into New South Wales and then getting back into Queensland. I might encounter some issues with that one.
Yeah, it might be a bit hard. Now, with the other comps that kind of might run at the end of the year, I guess Team Defin probably aren't going to be able to bring out their high-quality Hawaiian body surfers. So who are you thinking of surfing for if Womp-Off ends up going ahead? Are you still going to surf for Defin? I know that you're a War team rider now. Maybe War might be putting a team together.
Yeah, we'll see what Ricky does there. I don't know. Would that be cheating, putting a team in at your own contest?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think it should be okay.
I don't know. Yeah, put it to the people. See what they think. I don't know. Well, I'm good mates with some of the women boys, but I don't know. We'll see what the Finn does.
Now, you have recently made the switch over to War hand planes. Now, how did the War hand plane hold up with those Gold Coast conditions over the weekend?
It was sick. It was awesome. I was using the Badfish model, and it performed very well. Put it through its paces, and had heaps of fun.
Nice. And were you wearing a wetsuit or were you in your sluggos?
No, I was definitely in a wetsuit. I get very cold very quickly, even up here in Queensland. It's shocking.
Yeah, right. Now, were you able to catch up? I didn't know you were from Brisbane, but do you often slide with a lot of? Do you catch up with a lot of those boys from the Goldie Sliders, or do you sort of keep to yourself up in Brizzy?
I kind of just float around everywhere. It's the beauty of living in Brisbane. You're an hour to the north coast and an hour down to the Goldie. I see those guys, around at the different body surfing meetups a couple times a year and stuff. But I'm not a religious weekend body surfer with them on I think they're down on Sundays most days.
Yeah, nice. Have you been able to get your mal out lately? Have you been getting up on the stand-up recently?
I've been doing a fair bit of surfing. Like I said, there's been a good run of swell at the moment, so I've been spending a fair bit of time at the beach. Having lots of fun.
Now, Tom, the big question I want to know is how is the after party? We are having withdrawals here down. The Budgie boys like to have a beer. Now, there was talk that the after party couldn't be as big as last year, obviously because of the coronavirus. But did you guys get to wet the whistle on a few?
I actually took off afterwards. The downside of living in Brizzy is driving back to Brizzy.
Yeah.
So I split pretty soon after. I'm sure they all got a bit rowdy. I heard they were going to the South Point Surf Club afterwards. Had a couple of light celebratory beers at home, but I didn't get into it at the after party. I regret. Something to do next year.
Yeah, that's right. Now, Tom, we'd love to get you on the podcast as an actual guest soon. So it was good to catch up briefly. But we have our good friend Bondy sitting here, and he hasn't said a word for a while, so we're going to cross back over to him soon. But yeah, thank you for wrapping up Slyde Fest for us, Tom, and we'll chat to you again soon.
Sounds good. My pleasure. Look forward to it.
There is the new champion, the new Slyde Fest Australia 2020 champion. Now, it's hard to reflect on something we weren't a part of, and that's why we wanted to get Tom on. And I think we're starting to get a bit of an idea of the comp. But, man, have you got huge FOMO right now? I just feel like we've missed out big time on a really, really good event.
Yeah, that's right. And how good did it sound that it went, even with all the restrictions that they had? Now, just like imagine what next year's going to be like when we get back to some sort of normality. Just to finish off with what Trav wrote, I've read here on the second line of the second page, Hamish has withdrawn because he was unwell.
Yeah, big news.
Now I didn't actually see his name, but it didn't click in my brain until just then. What's happened there? Because he's a very good body surfer.
I had some money on him as well. So I saw Ben and Simon from the Goldie Sliders do very well. And I was the same. I couldn't see Hamish and I was quite concerned. And that makes sense. I hope he's doing all right. I hope he's feeling better. But that would have killed him not being a part of that event, more so than us. So Hamish, hope you're doing all right. I guess we'll find out the scoop soon, Wolfo. But that's crazy that he couldn't do Slyde Fest this year.
Yeah, he just jumped on the comments on the YouTube. He had to pull out due to a COVID spread in Brisbane. He needed to get tested, so it was good timing.
Ooh, yeah, there you go.
So unlucky. All the best, Hamish. Hope you're doing well. But there's always next year.
That's right. Now, thanks to Defin Hawaii, Spy Sunglasses Australia, and Slyde Handboards for putting on a sick event.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, Bondy, how does that make you feel, man? I know you were you were looking for a podium finish, so this must be killing you.
I got to say, 4 to 6 foot swells. I'm so glad I didn't go. I don't go in anything more than 2 foot. So
I reckon the paddle out would have been fun for us.
Well, do you remember my first event?
Yes.
There was 20 new people at that one. I think that was me last year at Whampoa.
Yeah, it was. And we saw how that went down in the tag team event where it was honestly, to give you credit, it was probably 2.5 foot of wind chop. And you were struggling quite a lot to get it out, just out the back. And after we had watched you for like a couple of sets and we're like, all right, yeah, Bondy, we're cheering. And then it was kind of like, okay, come back to the beach now because if you keep going, you may die.
Yeah, I remember I was terrified because I didn't want to let the team down. You guys have been talking about Whampoa for so long. Every episode, there was 5 episodes of the podcast the week before. There was that epic poem which stirred us up. So I was really keen to put in a big effort, and I remember had so much adrenaline. I was so nervous. I basically ran down to the beach. I remember Barrel Pig being right in front of me. I'm terrified of Barrel Pig. He's a big presence on the socials. If you're listening, hello. But anyway, and he was right in front of me, and I thought, well, look, if I just sort of swim near him, maybe I'll pick up a little wave. Anyway, he went quite quicker out the back than I did. So then I was swimming under a couple more waves, and and then I thought, oh my gosh, I think I've been out here for like 20 minutes. I've given up a third of our time, so I should probably head back to the shore. I don't think I actually caught a wave, so. But I got a good reception when I came out. So.
Yeah, did we? Well, we planned to go and pick you up and celebrate you as if you were the victor, but then we swiftly realised we couldn't pick you up because you were too large.
Yeah, that's true.
So, listen, it must have been fun though.
It was great. It was a good day. It was freezing cold.
It was cold that day.
But I had a really good time. And I think like the camaraderie of body surfing in general is just really great. I love just hanging out with the boys. I know it was mentioned before, I drive basically an hour and a half to get to the beach to hang out with you guys. And so to spend a whole day at the beach with my new mates, that was just so good. And even though I got in the water about 5 minutes of that whole day, I had a great time.
How long had you been body surfing when you were at Whampoa?
So I can't remember when Whampoa was, September, October. I started body surfing. I went for my first ever body surf last February. So Sean is my brother-in-law. He's also the chief medical officer of the Budgie Boys. He's a really good guy. Anyway, he asked me to come down and just go body surfing with him. And he's been talking about body surfing for a while. I thought it was a bit of a joke. I didn't know what he was doing. And then I saw a picture of him on the socials and he was catching a wave. And I thought, okay, so it's not just like a joke. It's actually something he does. And so anyway, I thought I'll just come down with him one day and went down to Allura, Gate 22. There was a couple of budgie boys in the water. I didn't have a pair of budgies at the time, so I wore some shorts. So I looked pretty weird because everyone was in sluggos. And yeah, I went out. I tried to catch like half a wave, and it was just that feeling of like, oh my gosh, this is the best thing in the whole world. I remember like going out when we went out of the water, and I was on cloud 9, and then went down to the kiosk, had a lime milkshake for some reason. I was kind of bullied into that, I think.
It's our team flavour, mate.
And yeah, and I was just like, I remember on the drive home thinking, I'm going to come back next week, bring the tech ones out, and I haven't looked back.
Mate, that's so good. And as you've progressed, now every week I sit back and I watch, I observe, and you're getting better and better each week. You might not think you are, but every week you're building on your skills. I even think of this weekend, we've gone out to one of the reef breaks in Cronulla, and you decided that you might not hop in. There was a lot of water. In fairness, there was a lot of water moving, and you're like, "Nah, I'm going to sit this one out." So one of our other team members, Robbie, decided to get out, and he was like, "I'm going to get Bondy in." So where you enter this reef break, you have to kind of pick your timing and then jump in between the sets. And so he kind of edged you closer to the water, and then you fell over, and then you fell over again, and then a wave hit you, and then you kind of got pushed over the rocks. But to your credit, you kept getting up and you kept going, and so we were all in the water going, "Oh, this is not going to be good. Like this could be a rescue mission here." And to your credit, you jumped in, and then all I saw was you kind of go under a wave, and when I popped back up over the wave, you were on Robbie's bodyboard. Robbie was swimming, and he was towing you out to the break from the rock face. And it's those things that are just building your character day by day. You're getting the skills. You're conquering your fears. I mean, you didn't catch any waves out there.
I definitely didn't.
But you didn't need to. You know, it's about getting out there. It's about enjoying it, being in the water. So how do you feel you've been progressing since February, I guess, February last year to where you are now?
Yeah, I guess, well, firstly, it's weird you guys got me on the podcast. I was thinking on the way here, I'm the first non-body surfer to be on the podcast. But I really love it. Like, I really love getting out there. My goal at the start of this year was to get, not to stay on the beach. It was to get in no matter what the conditions. Haven't always kept to that because I'm a small wave specialist. I do like to get out when it's small. But I really do like just the experience of getting out into the water. I didn't grow up with the water. I live in the Hills District, which is over an hour from the beach. And so, yeah, I'm still getting used to, I guess, how the waves feel, like particularly when they break, you know, when you kind of get in the wash, and it's still terrifying, to be honest. But yeah, I've been out in the reefs a couple of times. I really like, I guess, knowing where to go in. So I always need to sort of be told, all right, you need to go here. I've seen my fair share of kook slams, so I need to know to jump at a certain time. I didn't do that on the weekend, and I definitely got cleaned up. But yeah, it's just getting out there, getting into it. And I guess the good thing about the reef is you can kind of sit on the shoulder and sort of watch what people do and not really know where the waves are going to break. So it was terrifying going in. Corey had to kind of make sure I didn't die on the way in as well. But it was good.
To your credit, Bondy, was it the second time you went out? We went to Shark Island. Was that the second time you'd body surfed?
That was the second time I've ever body surfed.
Okay,
yeah.
so the second time Bondy body surfs, Timmy, we go out. Were you there that day?
No.
So we go out to Shark Island. Now, Shark Island is not a forgiving wave at all. So if you get in the wrong position, you're going for a ride over the island. And so we just swum out there. It's a pretty big swim. It's about you'd say a K out maybe. And as soon as we get out there, a wave comes and Bondy's in the perfect position for it. And we all are howling at him, go, 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 go. And so he just turns, and to his credit, straight onto a wave, and we're like, you. And I'm going in my head, all right, he should be turning left now. He's not turning left. He's gone straight. All right, he should be getting off the wave now. He's still on the wave. And you just kept riding that thing straight onto the island. And that was the second time he ever body surfed. And I was like, he's the bloke for us, Timmy. He's the man to have around.
Have you been back to Ireland since then?
No, one time only. I remember that really distinctly. I still don't understand wave sizes, but it felt friggin' massive. But yeah, if I remember, it was actually, I mean, people did call me on the wave, but it was you, Owie, that called me on the wave.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, I mean, he's got my best interests at heart. How bad could it be? And I caught this wave, didn't know how to turn. And yeah, and then I got hit by the wave and ended up on the rock, and I was going, oh, look, crap, what do I do now? And then the worst part was when you're on the reef, when you're on the rock, I didn't know what to do next. Yeah. And I'm just getting hit by wave and wave. It was a good day.
It was.
Yeah.
It was a really good day. And to your credit, you swam back out. You didn't catch any more waves that day, but you were just sitting there and observing, and which is the right thing to do. I've loved to see the progression in you, and now you are turning left, you're turning right. And how's that feeling?
Yeah, it feels great. It's really good. I really like particularly shoreys like beachies, and I'm getting more confident in what to do there, where my position's meant to be. For a long time, I didn't know where to be on the wave, and it sounds dumb, like all you need to do is catch it and then whatever, but it's where to be, and when the wave kind of ends, that's where I wasn't sure what to do. And so now I'm feeling confident that I know where to be, and I know the wave's going to go over me, so I can duck under it and then go for the next one. And even just feeling confident about just swimming out to the end of the break, and being confident to duck under surfers and that kind of thing. So I'm sort of getting there, and every time I drive to the beach, I just know I'm going to have a good time, and that's what it's all about, I guess.
How long did it take you to purchase your first hand plane?
Oh, I got it. I went on the day that I went back for my first day. So February, I went my first day, caught half a wave, and that afternoon I went and bought a war, wooden, whatever it is, the fish. And I remember I was like, I need it for next week so I can take the war out no matter what. And that's when I went to Shark Island and almost killed myself. But yeah, it was straight away.
Does it have a few scratches on it from Shark Island?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Talk us through what's in your floppy bucket. You started off with the war fish. You had the Tech 1s, which are very rare.
Now, where did you get the Tech 1s?
I think...
Why did you have the Tech 1s?
I wish I didn't.
Yeah.
I think I just got given them once when I tried to bodyboard when I was 15 once. So they just gave me these Tech 1s and wore them the first time out. Got absolutely, my feet were wrecked at the end.
Like, you have quite a large foot, so it's not as though someone's just given you these, right? Like, what size is your foot?
Oh, it's like normal, 11. Like,
but you're like, you have toes the size of fingers.
Yeah, that's the problem. My toe is as big as my finger.
They are. If you want, like, if we sent pictures to people, you would pay. People would pay for that. But like, it's not as though someone just goes, "Oh, I've got these flippers in the car. Here you go." You've had to like deliberately go out and buy those, or someone's bought them for you.
Yeah, well, someone bought them for me, I guess. But anyway, they were pretty old, and so I took them out. And I think my first experience of you guys were just laughing at my Tech 1s.
It wouldn't have been me.
No,
I respect the Techs.
Tim loved them. I think.
No, I was fine with the Tech 1s as well. I was very proud.
But if they're hurting you, like, they're no good.
So anyway, so I outgrew them, and I went and bought some Defins. I got some Mark Cunninghams.
But that took you a while to get, because they weren't released, I don't think, at the time you started body surfing.
No, I also don't like to spend a lot of money. So I tried to savour my gear for as long as possible until it was absolutely ridiculous that I was still going out in these Tech 1s. So then I bought the Mark Cunningham Defins, and I used them for a little while.
Now, you want to give them a big plug, don't you?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. I like them.
Go on.
But they're not that good in the heat.
Right. Why?
Well, I left them in the back of the car over summer, back of the Mini, and anyway, I got them
with your keys.
Yeah, that's a whole nother story. And and then I got them out and looked at them. Now I thought rubber, lasts pretty well in the heat, but obviously not, because I turned them out and they looked like this, which is my hand in a scoop motion.
The old Defin scoops, we call them.
Yeah, and so it took me a while to get them back flat. I don't think they're fully flat yet. They've still got a bit of a concave. I was riding them for a while, and then I, for some reason, went and bought some orange dot Vipers. The V5s, and so I've been using them lately. They're my sort of go-to fin at the moment.
And you find them comfy?
No.
Yeah, didn't think so. No one does, but they are a good fin.
Yeah, I like that they're kind of narrow, they just feel comfortable in the water.
Now, have you sold your scoops yet?
No.
Do you want to plug it on the podcast?
Yeah, if you want to contact me on Matt C Bond, I'll sell you my scoops.
This one up here, mate.
G'day.
Yeah.
What's up? So feel free to DM me, slide into the DMs, and I'll sell you some scoops.
Now, have you gotten much more in your floppy bucket? It seems like you're the kind of guy that just wants all these accessories, but you did mention you are sort of frugal with your money and that sort of thing. So what have you been sort of collecting some things and filling up your floppy bucket with some funny gadgets?
Yeah, I do have a lot. I bought a floppy bucket, which is my first initiation into the budgie boys. I figured I needed something in the back of my car, and then all of a sudden I think I need another one because it's just full of crap. So I bought some wetsuits from St. Vincent de Paul, my favourite store, and they all had a few holes in them, but that's all right. It's speed holes. But I went and actually bought a new wetsuit. It's a Zion Steamer 3x2 Yeti.
Nice.
Really like it. Shout out to the guys from Zion. And what else do I have? Oh, I've got a Badfish as well. I've got a War Badfish. I love that. I ride it a lot.
From your sponsor?
Yeah.
You're technically sponsored by War.
I mean...
You're a War warrior.
Am I?
Warrior, yeah? Is that what they call it?
I haven't been tagged in any photos on the War Instagram.
You'll get there. You'll get there, mate.
And also really like the Belly Slater belly board.
Ooh, yeah. Now, you're one of the only people I know. Oh, there's a few boys that do it, but go out with the earplugs. How have they been working for you lately?
Yeah, so they're really good. So I went out once and I felt like I had water in my ears all week.
That's because there's water in you.
It was just the worst feeling in the whole world. And so I just Googled. I'm like, oh my gosh, how do I not get this? And so I bought the Surf Ears version 3. And I love them, except I went and used them. Couldn't stop thinking about it, how good they were. Went the next day at Cronulla, Lura, Gate 22, and I lost them. So had them for one day, lost them, and then they were so good, I bought another pair.
Okay.
Did the guy give them to you for free, or you actually just went and bought another pair?
I went and bought another pair, but I did email him and he gave me a good price.
Oh,
so,
that's nice.
So if you ever do lose your surf ears, tell him Bondy sent you.
There you go. So I want to ask a question about the surf ears. Now, does it affect how much you can hear in the water?
They claim that it doesn't, but I mean it's not as good as not having them. But I can still hear. If you're cracking jokes, I can laugh along.
Yeah, because there's some people have really bad problem with their ears in the water. Now, I think I went through a stage, and it still kind of happens. Obviously, after it rains, my ears get a bit gunky and a bit sore. But I've never been someone that's had big problems with my ears. Now, I know that for some people, maybe including yourself, anytime you get in the ocean, it's just horrendous. It's painful, or you're walking around all week long with water in your ears. So maybe those surf ears are something to think about if someone's listening and you have really bad problems. I watch the Kookman up there on the Central Coast. He always wears the surf ears. I think they're surf ears. They might be some other brand, but there's a few others that have them. Really good investment. Now, so you've got your surf ears, you've got your War, you've got your flippers. You're the guy that I feel has always got something. You've got something new. To use the cliche, you're the all the gear, no idea.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I love it. So what? Tell us something that's maybe on the horizon, maybe something we don't know about, we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, so I've been coveting yucca fins for a long time now,
right.
And been on all the Instagram, all over our winter, their summer. Apparently, they're out of rubber. They've sold all out of their fins. So these are guys over at Newport Beach, and they're the wedge guys. They make some really good fins, it looks like, and they kind of look a bit like the Vipers I ride, but it just looks heaps good and heaps better, and really different flexes, which I like. So I've been covered in them, and I'm really keen to buy some. I did actually go to check out a pair, and online you go check out, and including shipping, it was something like $200.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of money to drop on some rubber. But
Well,
what else am I going to do?
You heard it here first, guys. I had this conversation with someone the other day. Someone needs to get on being the importer for Yucca, because that's a money-making scheme, if I've ever heard one. Because we've got importers for Viper, you've got importers for Churchill's, Wars, Stealth, DMC, the list goes on. No Australian Yucca representative that I know of. So if you're listening, pat and pen that.
We don't technically have like a fin sponsor on the podcast. Maybe we could hook something up.
We got to get him into the studio to interview him
that's
first.
true.
Maybe we can ask him live.
Yeah, that's it. Let's just call him. Anywho, let's get back to Bondy. We're not here for yuccas. That's next week, is it?
We've been saying it's next week for the last 10 weeks.
Woofo, is it next week?
He's probably forgotten about it.
All right, so I've got something controversial to bring up with you, Bondy. As you mentioned, you love getting around gate 20. What are we? 22. 22. And you love the lime milkshake, but you never go a bacon and egg roll.
Yeah.
What's with that?
What?
Yeah.
How has this got past me?
You've never noticed?
No, I know you always get a hash brown.
Yeah, so I don't eat egg, or not like because I'm religious about it. I just don't like the taste. And so when I heard that the official breakfast food was bacon and egg roll, I didn't know if I'd fit in.
Well, you don't.
Yep.
And you never will.
But what do you get? You get something quite unusual, yeah?
I was getting the BLT at the kiosk for a little while, which is a bit weird to eat for breakfast.
Such a weird breakfast food.
I was off that. So I just get like 3 or 4 hash browns.
Would you go a bacon roll?
Yeah, but it's kind of, the problem with the bacon roll is it's kind of a bit of nothing. Like you never really have just bacon as your protein, you know?
I do.
Yeah, I've had bacon as my protein before. I don't like it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't choose it, but I have had it. So no bacon egg roll, no lime milkshake.
Yeah, I don't love them.
And you think that you're going to get off being the hock when?
Well, see, here's the thing.
Should we quickly just explain what you're talking about?
Oh, yeah. So the hock is the head of childcare. That's our entry-level position at the Budgie Boys.
I believe, Woofo, you started as the hock, and look at you now, mate.
Yeah, look at me now running the show.
Well, okay. I do have a bone to pick with the Bondysurf podcast with the Budgie Boys. So I am the head of childcare. We did have a annual general meeting at in July this year, or June or whenever it was.
At Hairy Man.
We went to Hairy Man Brewery, had a couple of ales, and I was really excited to have a vote on who was going to be the next hock. See, the thing is, I've recruited a couple of new boys
you've done real well.
into the Budgie Boys. Shout out to Jared. Shout out to Aaron. Well, I didn't really get Aaron in, but shout out anyway. But Jared's from the hills, so I've recruited someone from the hills. We both drive for over an hour to get to Cronulla every Saturday morning. And I thought this is a perfect opportunity to palm off head of childcare. See, the thing is, I'm a head of childcare, but I hate kids.
And you're working with Children's Check did not clear. So there's something in your past you're not telling us about.
No, literally, like your job is like you're so far removed from children, you actually work with the elderly.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's how much you dislike children. You don't have any children of your own, despite being 40 years old. And you know what? When we first found out that you were
Did my head in.
late 30s, like it was a revelation.
Very late 30s.
Yeah, very late 30s, like over the hill.
Yeah.
And it was amazing for Tim and I because we were like, wow, we've got a role model, someone to look up to. Finally. Like Tim and I had similar role models growing up, but we've never had anyone since maybe the age of 20. Now we've got you.
Well, every time I go on the Chompers Instagram, when they talk about the foo,
You are the food.
You're our food.
You're
That's
our food.
great. Yeah, that works.
so I don't know what that means, but
No, I like it. Yeah, that's good. And I still don't think you're ever going to get off the hook, but I will back you. I will back you on in regards to Timmy not bringing the minutes, because that actually really let us down that day. We do have the general meeting each year, and we bring the minutes, and Wolfo records them, and we go and adjust all the things within the King Wan menu. Now, Tim did not bring that this year. I'm very upset, and because let's be honest, you probably weren't going to get off the hook, but you had the opportunity to vote someone else in.
Yeah, that's right.
I think you would have got off it. I think I deliberately did it because we got a few new kids coming in.
Yeah,
and I want to see you do some work for once.
See, the thing about kids is you can say you love
Where's this
kids.
going, Bondi? Because we don't have a dump function here.
Well, maybe I won't say it then.
Say it, you don't say it.
Well, the thing about kids is you can say you love kids, you just can't be too specific.
I've got your album coming out.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's move on.
Good joke. I like that.
Thanks.
Old Dimitri Martin.
All right, I'll try and bring it back into some form of body surfing chat.
All right.
Being 37 and from the western suburbs, would you call it the western suburbs? Not really. It's further west than the western suburbs.
Yeah, it's beyond west.
Yeah, beyond west.
Greater west.
What you said before about like where to position on the wave, and that whole kind of idea of surf culture and just like the knowledge of the ocean, that's where really you're lacking. And not to put you down in that, because that's just the truth. Like, you haven't been around the ocean as much as someone who's grown up in Cronulla. How do you see yourself kind of bridging that gap now? Is it just a thing of being in the water, or is it a combination of maybe chatting to people that have been in the water their whole lives? I think of someone like you look at Corey. He's only young, but he's just all he's known is water. What do you do about that? Like, are you doing research in the off times where you're not surfing?
Well, it is weird you say research, because I do jump on. I look up body surfing all the time. I'm on the body surfing Reddit. If anyone's on Reddit, I love that the subreddit body surfing. I'm thinking about it a lot. It sounds a bit lame, but like, it's the last thing I think about before I go to bed. You know, like I'm about to go to bed. How do I get to bed? I think about waves, and I think to get thinking about being acclimatized in the water or whatever. I think it's just honestly a matter of getting out and doing it. I don't think I'm there yet, and I still see, when I look up on Swellnet or whatever, and it's 4 foot plus, I'm just like, oh frig, it's going to be a bad day for me. But I still want to try and get out there, and even if I get out the back and don't catch any waves, I still want to just be in there and experience it, and and just learn that even if I jump under a wave that feels like it's as big as a tower, that I'm going to survive and it's going to be okay. I did read somewhere that you can hold your breath for 30 seconds or something, and that means it's like a 20-foot wave hold down, so I'm never going to be out there in 20 foot. So even if you're, held down for a second, it feels terrifying, but you're not going to die. Yeah. You just need to sort of relax and be okay. So I'm trying to make myself feel a bit more relaxed in the water. Obviously, spend more time with people that are better at body surfing than me. That is everyone in the Budgie Boys. And and just get out there and enjoy it.
Have you ever been dumped really hard? Besides getting some scratches from reef, have you ever been just held down for a bit?
Not heaps, actually. I think the weirdest thing is just when I'm just cooked it on a wave. I'm not in the right position, and I kind of fall over the falls or whatever, and I just don't know where I am. That's the scariest thing for me. But no, I've never been held down for, people talk about 1 or 2 wave sets or whatever. I've never done that.
You're starting to explore a bit more. We've had a few trips down south. You've gone to some secret spots. You know Cronulla quite well. What's your favourite break?
Well, I mean, Allura Gate 22, nothing beats it. 1.5 to 2 foot conditions, beautiful, sun. It's just great. I had a really good surf at South Cronulla the other week. So I went out with Robbie and Aaron and Sean, my brother-in-law, and it was just a great day. So it was one of the big East Coast Low days, and so I was terrified to go anywhere else, and South Cronulla looked okay, and so went out there, and it's one of those things where I'm always on the beach looking out. It looks okay, and you get out there and it's terrifying, and it was that as well. And at South Cronulla, it sort of breaks onto not just the beach, it breaks onto kind of a reef, like near the pools. And when I was out there, Robbie kind of called me onto a few waves, and I said no, and then I realised I had to say yes eventually. And so, I went onto a couple of waves, and I almost forgot that where we were surfing, it was basically breaking onto rock. Because the beach was sort of on the left-hand side, I kind of forgot that it was a reef break, and so I was able to catch some really good waves, and I had a really good day. So that was good. I think Jesse Mawson was at the cafe at the time.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And so he missed out, but no, it was a really good day.
Well, did Jesse went Reese with you? Yeah, I haven't heard much from him lately. Is he all right?
Yeah, he's going okay.
He was coming to Slyde, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. Yeah. No, but then he pulled out. He did. He did. He pulled out, which actually made a lot of sense because, we got stuffed up in the end. So South Cronulla, you had a good surf there the other day.
Yeah.
If anyone wants to check out what that kind of break does look like, that was the last photo that we posted on Budgie Boys.
That's normally not what it's like, though.
It's not what it's like
It
normally.
is the family beach. It's where everyone goes for a little paddle.
But it was the same spot where Bondi was.
And it has one good day a year.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, and you got it this year. I missed out.
Yeah.
That's one of my favourite spots. I love South Carolina, but it's looking good.
Yeah, it was big that day, and but because of the East Coast lows that have been around at the moment, all the sand's gone. So there's actually a lot more reef there than you would expect would be there. So I can understand when you've gone, all right, I thought I was at the beach, but you're not. So that must have been good for you, though, like just kind of going, oh, actually I caught a wave and I was fine.
Yeah, I think it's when where it broke and where, I kind of caught up with the lip. It wasn't sandy at all. It was reef or rock or whatever. But it was exciting that, I got to that point. I didn't die. I didn't hit the bottom. And so, it's good. And then once you do that a few times, you can kind of get a bit more courageous and think, all right, I might sit a bit deeper here or whatever. So, it was really cool. And it's really good to go out with some guys that know the break. I really like going out with Robbie. He's our resident body boarder. But that day he was actually on the belly. He was body surfing with us, but he sort of knows where to sit, and so I really like going out with him so he can kind of teach me where to go.
What's next for Matthew Bond? You want to get rid of this head of childcare business, but in terms of body surfing, this year's a write-off. We've already been denied a lot of the things that we took for granted the last few years in the body surfing calendar. Are you hoping to get overseas and try some stuff over there? You're happy to just hang around here for a while and maybe compete in a few more one-offs? What are you thinking? Where are you going to take the sport?
Yeah. So I just want to get out as much as I can and be really, I guess, confident out in the water. You heard it here first. I'm really keen to go to Hawaii at some stage, not to body surf, like I'm not an idiot, but I just want to go and have a good time. I love Lost, so I really want to go and see the Lost sites.
That's what I said last week.
We've been banned from Lost Chat.
Yeah.
No Lost Chat.
No, I love Lost. I'm watching my third time through right now.
I've got a lot of
really
good spots
Yeah.
for you to go there, by the way, mate.
Right.
Skip.
Because there was always talk about maybe a little expo, body surf Wompoff Expo, maybe taking some people over. If that happened, would you put your hand up?
Absolutely.
Yeah, cool. That's good to know.
And I think that body surfing, this just goes to show that body surfing is for everyone. You grew up in the Hills District. You started body surfing when you were 36.
Yep.
36. And you're loving it now. You've only been body surfing like just over a year. It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter where you grew up. You can just come down with a pair of flippers and a handboard. Not even a handboard if you don't want. Not even a pair of flippers. Jump in the ocean and really enjoy it. And what I love about it is that the whole community comes together from so many different aspects. I mean, you've got lawyers, you've got photographers, you've got musicians, like, and everyone brings a different aspect to body surfing. That's what I love about it. No one just kind of conforms to, oh yeah, I'm a surfie, I do this, and everyone grows their hair long. Like, everyone's just different. Everyone's strange. And that's where, like, it's just so open. I mean, you've brought this American dude into the Budgie Boys, like, and he's got his own story as well, and he's only just started body surfing. It's just, I just really love that you've joined the team. And as I want to echo what Timmy said, like, what's the future for you? Like, how do you see kind of your story in body surfing moving the sport forward?
So I think it's just it's really interesting because I talk about going to the beach a lot to my mates who live in the Hills district, nowhere near the beach. No one's grown up with it. And they assume I mean, stand up. And I'm like, no, I don't have a board. I just go out there with flippers and have fun. And I would love for more people who haven't grown up at the beach to get out there. And, the cost of entry is nothing. You just go out there. And, I have a couple of pairs of flippers now because I'm an idiot and I bought a whole bunch. So now I've got spares that I can just, lend to people. And, I just want to kind of be like a body surfing evangelist, just get out there and just spread the word.
And that's what I think everyone is at the end of the day. They're a body surfing evangelist. Like, it's hard to kind of like share stand-up surfing with everyone. If you go, oh, I'm a surfer, they automatically assume you're a stand-up surfer. They don't want to, they already think they know everything about it. They've either chosen to surf or they've chosen not to surf, and that's it. Body surfing is so different because you're like, no. Like, I go out there without a surf craft. No, I catch a wave just swimming onto it, and then people automatically start asking questions. So you're exactly right. You're the body surfing evangelist. Bondy, the body surfing evangelist. It's perfect.
Go out there and share the book of Matthew with everyone, baptizing them.
Absolutely.
With some salty water.
Can we get Belly Slater to write a Bondy, the body surfing evangelist song? I think that's our next project. Wolfo, producer Wolfo, get onto that.
Done.
He's in.
Anywho, I think we got to get out of here. Do it all again real soon. We'll be back next week with an episode of Between the Sets. But Matthew Bond, thank you very, very much for being a guest here on the Body Surf podcast. I'd like to thank Tom Marr as well. Thanks for jumping on the phone, having a chat with us tonight. We'll be doing our thing. Are we going for a surf this weekend?
We sure are.
Where are we going?
Gate 22.
Okay.
8 a.m, mate.
8? Okay. Sleeping.
We're sleeping, yeah.
Good stuff. All right, we got to get out of here. Do it all again real soon. But for now, Bondy, would you like to say it?
It's always overhead when you're body surfing.
Bye.
Bye.